Well, hello. Thanks for coming back to check out another video. So, before we get into our May update for the Deck of Panning Project Pan, I would just like to kind of forewarn you guys. In the Northern Hemisphere, we are quickly approaching the spring season. So my eyes are watering, my throat has a frog in it, and my nose is just running, and I am in that like allergy kind of fog, you know? So if I seem a little weird, a little like stumbling over my words more than normal, or I feel like, you know, like let's just say I start a sentence, stop it, and then start a new one, it's the brain fog, okay? That's all it is. I'm okay. We're just gonna get through this. This is how it's gonna go from here until fall, okay? So anyway, like I said, this is the May update for the Deck of Panning Project Pan. Like I say in every update, I am super excited that I've decided to participate in with this year. This is the second year that this project pan is going around. And so it is a project pan that is centered around like a game board and playing with a deck of cards, and it has prompts, and you pick you randomize your prompt based on the cards that you draw, and then you relate your makeup or, you know, beauty item, what you want to pan, to the prompt that you get. Like, it's just so fun. I love these prompt-based style project pans. So of course this was created by emilynmax. I always leave her link down below in my description box, as well as her introduction video, because she does a really good job. She goes way into detail of how you like play along, follow along, things like that. So I am assuming that since you were here sitting down with me, you're already quite familiar with how this project pan works, how it goes about, and things like that. So I'm not gonna really get into like the rules and everything like that. But like I said, if this is your first time, then just check the description box. You will find all of the information that you need to know. Okay, so let's first talk about our items that are rolling out of this project pan. I am super happy to be sitting here today to tell you guys that this palette that has been in since the beginning, since January, I'm holding it backwards. I always do that, but this is rolling out finally. So this is the Baddie Bean Shroud Cosmetics palette. It's freaking bats. I had rolled this in because the card that I got was one of the Black Queen face cards. Now those prompts do not change. They stay the same throughout the whole year. So it was represent another project pan. So the project pan that I went with was the Project Level Up that was created by Sophie Alexandra. Again, I always have her stuff and information for that project pan linked in my description box as well, since I was representing it in this project pan. So anyway, the idea of that is that level 1 palette, which was what this was, you would use every eyeshadow in here one time and hit pan on one shade. It was very easy to hit the like use every shade one time. The hitting pan on one shade is what was really hard and really challenging. And I got a little bit burnt out with this palette and the shade that I was trying to hit pan on, and just the color story in general, you know what I mean? So as we moved more into the spring and summer months, this just was not a palette that I wanted to reach for. Like, this to me screams like more fall and winter and grungy in that sense, not grungy like greens that I want to wear this time of year, you know? So anyway, I'm really happy though. The shadow that I was working on was 0 right here. So hopefully you can tell I did finally hit pan on this shade. So I got burnt out of using this as a lid shade, which was mostly what I had been doing. A lot of my uses for this past month with this particular shadow came from just using this as a lower lash line shade and just really buffing it out. Hopefully, I think I have a picture taken of where I did that at least one time. But yeah, that was like really the only way that I found where it was like I can still stomach to use this shadow. Because like I said, I was quite burnt out of it. So I'm really happy that this is rolling out, and that is our first first item rolling out. Okay, so the next item rolling out that we will talk about, I got the prompt matches shirt, and I had on this very like plaid shirt. So perfect to roll in this eyeshadow palette with the nice plaid packaging. So this is the Give Me Glow Christmas Morning eyeshadow palette. Now my goal with this was to use every shadow within this palette 2 times before I could roll it out. I have to say that was a little bit more of a challenging goal to meet than I anticipated, simply because I am working on so many other eyeshadows at this point. But I was able to meet that goal quite obviously, or I would not be talking about it in this section of the video. So I really didn't do any like full-on looks with this palette, and I don't think I took any pictures, because if I'm like mixing and matching a ton of palettes, then my brain, like, I just don't remember to take that picture. However, if I'm just using like one palette or 2 palettes, then I'm much more likely to take a picture. I don't know why that is. Are you that way? Let me know. I'm super curious. So yeah, this was just a palette where I just tried to at least incorporate 1 to 2 shadows within the looks that I've been doing this past month. So standout shades for me were definitely this red shade down here. Just surprising. I'm not usually a fan of matte red eyeshadows, but this was really pretty to blend with like pinks and purples and really make just some interesting kind of, I guess, more berry shades, which I am a big fan of berry shades. But yeah, I'm gonna bring this in for you guys. So I didn't really expect for you to see a whole lot of disturbance only using each shade in here 2 times, but I feel like the look of this palette has not changed. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't see any like extra usage or any good dips or anything like that. So it's just a little surprising. The matte eyeshadows in here are super tightly pressed, but Misty did tell me that Give Me Glow has like reformulated their matte shadows, and so now they're a bit more like smooth and easy to blend and work with. So I would be curious to like see how the new ones compare to this one. That is a huge tangent. Okay, so the final item rolling out is another palette. I am so happy. I was trying so hard to meet my goals on these eyeshadow palettes because, like I said, I'm a little bit overwhelmed with the amount of shadows I'm working on. So I really want to try to minimize how many palettes I bring into Project Pans. So yeah, anyway, this got rolled in last time. This was for the prompt largest category, I think. It'll be on the screen and down in the description box because I never remember. But anyway, this is my Nomad palette, or this is a palette from Nomad, and it's the America's Parks palette. So my goal with this was to just use this palette 3 times to create 3 full-on eye looks, not dipping into any other palette, just using this solely as, you know, the star of the show, we will say. And I was able to do that. I was able to accomplish that. I will put up some pictures right here of all 3 of my looks. I do have to say, this is my first experience using Nomad Cosmetics, and they're fine. They're okay. Does that make sense? Like, they're not terrible. I'm not decluttering this or the Haunted Europe palette that I also own from them out of my collection. But their matte shadows, like particularly the purple one within this palette, was a little bit hard to work with. Like, it wasn't as dark and impactful as you would think looking at it in the pan here. And then the shimmer shades, like especially the ones from within this center row, they were a more softer shimmer, we will say. They weren't that bam punchy in your face shimmer. And I feel like since this is an indie brand, a lot of indie brands do have that more impactful shimmer formula. So I was just like a little bit let down by that. But now that I know what I've gotten into with them, like, I do still appreciate it. I just wish I maybe would have known that from the get-go. You know what I mean? But anyway, the star of the show, like my favorite shade from within this palette, was definitely this shade, the Narrows. It is very much an impactful shade. It is one of those like kind of pinky brown shimmer shades, and I just absolutely fell in love with it. I loved the halo eye that I created using this shadow. So yeah, star of the show, and that is our last rollout item for this update. Okay, so 2 items to update you on like progress time, and then we will pick our 3 new cards and get 3 new prompts, and I'm really excited. So this is the Bite Beauty Lippy in the shade No Nino. This has been in since January. The prompt that I got was random letter generator that corresponded to a shade. That's not how it's listed in the game board, but that's how it's said in my head. So the random letter that we got was N. So I had to pick a shade that started with N, not a brand name. So hence why I picked No Nino. This lippy is so pretty. I do have it on today with a gloss topped off on top of it. This is just like, to me, the perfect like nude shade that I want to wear all year round. I know this is like a little bit vampy, and maybe most people would want to wear this just like in the fall and winter, but absolutely love it. This is all I have left, you guys. Just this little nub. I know I made like a soft goal last update to try to use this at least 10 times within the month, because while I do enjoy this, I do want to move this out. You know what I mean? I think I managed to reach for this 12 times, with today being the 12th usage. So I'm really happy with that. I think I'm just going to continue to focus in on this for the next month, and maybe with 10 more uses we could actually finish this off, because as you can see, there's just such a tiny little bit of product. Now, we were marking our progress on the cap here, and surprisingly, even though I have 12 uses, 12 more uses with this product this month, I was not able to make a new line on the cap. I'm sure the ring light is going to glare this out a little bit, but we were up here at this line when we brought it in. Then we moved down like quite significantly. I think within that first month, I used this lippy like 17 times. And then last month, we didn't make as much progress. So this gold line is where we're still at. It's like just under the gold line, like not quite enough to make that new line. But yeah, really happy with my progress on this item. Okay, so then our last item to talk about, I got the prompt 10 of clubs, 10 of spades last time, which was summer. So I rolled in this setting spray from MAC. This is the MAC Fix Plus in the original scent. This is one of my favorite, like stick it to your face kind of setting sprays. So it made sense to me to roll this into the summer because where I live, it is more on like the humid side and your makeup tends to slide off your face unless you have something like this. So I have to say, I think I only used this like 12-ish times within the past month. So we went from this line to this line. Hopefully you guys can see that, and the ring light does not wash it out too terribly much. So I didn't just do my makeup 12 times within this past month. However, I have another setting spray from Urban Decay. It's an all-nighter setting spray, and I really want to finish that one off and focus in more of my attention onto that setting spray and try to get it used up. I've got less than half, remaining in that bottle, but I want to get it used up and have it in my May empties, because then when I do a mid-year makeup inventory check-in for June, I can safely tell you guys that all of my setting sprays that are in my collection were purchased in the year of 2022. So that's why the progress of this is going to be a little bit slow going just until I get that Urban Decay spray worked out. But I do try to alternate between the two of them. That way I do make sure that when I come on here and update you for this, like it is still exciting to look at, like I still have made some progress. Okay, so time for the favorite part. I'm going to shuffle my deck of cards and we are going to pick 3 new cards and we will see what those correspond to on the game board, and then we will pick our makeup items. And I don't know why I'm saying we, like I got a mouse in my pocket, but here we are. So I do always like to show you guys that I do in fact have a joker within the deck. This month he's the red one. I took out the black one. So anyway, I'm going to give these a shuffle, and while I am shuffling, let's go ahead and pop up a picture of the game board. Let's first do the face cards. So since I've already brought up the joker, I will tell you that is for like, are you joking me? It's got to be a product where you're like, I really don't want to pan this, like it's super hard, or it'll just take a really long time, or a long time to hit pan on, just whatever, it's kind of open-ended, but it has to be like a more challenging product, we will say. So then, like I said, hopefully earlier, the face cards themselves, like the king, queen, jack, and ace, they never change. They continue to be the same. They don't get shuffled around each month. And so both red queens have one prompt and both black queens have one prompt. So it's really fun. And then the other part of the game board where it is like the numbers, that does get shuffled around every month. Now I do not look at the like new game board before I sit down and film this update, because I want to be like, surprised. Like I don't want to, I guess, get my hopes up and hope for something and then not get it, So let's do a few quick more shuffles. My shuffling skills are so amazing, and yeah, that's, if I could get these back in the center. See, it's challenging to like do this in a good way. Anyway, one more since that one was so difficult. Okay, I'm gonna fan these out. I've really enjoyed doing like the fanning of the cards, and I'm not gonna lie, like I kind of want the joker, especially this early on in the year, because then you could actually probably meet your goal on it, Ooh, nine of clubs. I am so used to having that black joker in here that every time I get a black card, I'm like, oh, that was the joker, but it's the red one this month. Okay, let's go for this card. 4 of hearts. All right, my shuffling skills weren't that bad this month. Let's draw from like the back. And 5 of clubs. Okay, so I will go and see what these correspond to on the game board, pick out my products, and I will be right back to update you guys on what we're rolling in. All right, so let's talk about it. I feel like it always takes way longer to pick these out than I like go in thinking it will. So I do not remember the order that I drew these cards. I'm just going to pick them up off my lap, and that is how we will talk about them. So the first card was the 5 of clubs. This was a brand you only own one from. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I only own this product from Essence. This is their All About Matte Fixing Powder. It's like just a white like setting powder. Hopefully right there, can you see that I do have pretty good pan in this? This is one of the 23 makeup items that is not coming into the year 2023 with me. So perfect time to roll this in with a goal to finish it off. Like I said, I already have pretty good pan on this. I don't think it'll be gone like within the next month or two, but I definitely foresee this being an empty by the time August rolls around. So there is that first card. Then the next card is the 9 of clubs, and I just threw the other card on the floor. So the 9 of clubs here, this was your most recent purchase. So my most recent purchase is I made an order from Ulta for some CoverGirl products. I really love CoverGirl products. I've never like tried one of the concealers from them. So I wanted to try out the Clean Fresh Hydrating Concealer. I got mine in the shade 330 Fair Light. It looks a little bit yellow in my opinion. It's always so hard to pick out things online. But I do still want to try this out. Typically with concealers, I like to buy them a shade or two lighter than my foundation so that they have more of that like brightening aspect to them. So a goal with this is brand new. Like I said, never been opened. I'm not going to like try to finish this off. That would just be too much. I think we're going to do, how about 30 uses on this? 30 uses and it can roll out, and then that's a good way, like that's a good amount of time to spend with one concealer and decide how you feel about it. Okay, so the card that I dropped on the floor was the 4 of Hearts. That is a little bit of a tongue twister. So this was multi-purpose. Now, you guys know, I've said it before, I don't really tend to multi-purpose my items. I just don't enjoy it. So I was really like at a loss of like what to roll in, because to me, like my hang up was, well, you can't roll this in because you're not going to use it in a multitude of ways. You're just going to use it in the one way. And then I thought, we'll just get over that because that's going to be everything that you could put in for this, you know? So I went with a liquid highlighter. This is from ABH. This is in the shade Oyster. This is new. I maybe have used it once or twice. I've just been working on trying to finish up the Perla shade from them, and I'm pretty close to finishing that one up. Anyway, the reason that I picked this for multi-purpose was because I tend to just mix this in with foundation. However, I know some people would mix this in with like a body lotion. Some people would just use it as a traditional liquid highlighter and dab it on the high points of their cheeks where they want to be highlighted. So I felt like this was fair to roll in for multi-purpose. Like you can use this in a multitude of ways, even though I'm probably just gonna mix this into my foundations. I was a little bit hesitant to roll this one in, not because of the shade. Like I've finished off an Oyster before and it was quite lovely. But the packaging, as you can see, is like black. So it's hard to like see through this and make lines and everything, but we will try our best. So yeah, I'm gonna bring this in with the goal to finish this off, and that wraps it up. That is all of our new roll-ins, all of our 2 items staying in. I hope you guys enjoyed this update. I really feel like it was a very successful one. Hopefully the next one can be fairly successful. Hopefully, you know what, the only thing that I think could possibly roll out by the next update is the Bite Beauty Lippy, and if I can roll that out, have it finished off, I will consider next month's update very, very successful. So I cannot wait to catch up on everyone else that is doing this Project Pan, and I hope you guys are having a good day, a good night, or a good whatever, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye!